Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and this is episode 50, entitled Why I Started, What I've Learned, and Where It's All Going. So one, I'm super excited that we got to episode 50. It's hard to believe. I started this in April. I think my first episode dropped April 8th. We've been doing 2 a week on average, sometimes a third. It's been exciting to do. It's been fun to do. It's been a little bit of a passion project. I had talked about doing this with a friend a while back, and I didn't know if it was something I would actually do. I felt like I had like 14 years of knowledge in my brain that I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how. So at the time, I settled on writing and blogging and mentoring students, and if they asked certain questions, and I supplied the answers. But I felt like in the writing, sometimes some people just decide not to read. They don't want to read. They're not readers. It doesn't interest them. So then I started thinking about how can I do this so it may potentially reach more people. And I decided to go with audio. And at first it was something that accompanied the blog that I would release that week, and they would kind of work in pairs. And after a while, I chucked that idea and I decided just to do different things with both elements. It's been such a blast to do. Tapped In is genuinely imperfect, and that's really the way I want it to be. I do not heavily edit this. I let Riverside AI do its thing. It cleans up the audio a little bit. The mic that I borrowed from a student has helped. The soundboard that I bought that wasn't super expensive has helped. So the audio quality has gotten better than the first 5 or 10 episodes, but I didn't want this to be overly edited. I didn't want it to take over my day. I didn't want it to be perfect. I really didn't want it to. So when you hear my flubs and you hear me describe something a little incorrect and I use the wrong word, that's genuinely who I am and how I am, and it just is what it is. I say the wrong word all the time. I am not a public speaker. So the idea that I'm even doing this, or even teaching for that matter, have been huge successes for me. So I have genuinely enjoyed this entire process. It has been an eye-opener for me. It has helped me clear my thoughts. It's helped me through a couple of difficult situations. It's helped me kind of formulate how I structure my thoughts when I'm trying to formulate coherent, like long form. If you know me at all, I am not a talker. I'm pretty quiet. I'm usually the quiet kid in class or the quiet person in a room. I am not someone that loves attention. This is not something I'm doing for attention. But I just felt like there's so much stuff that you can share that's beneficial that sometimes doesn't come across in writing and doesn't always get picked up because it's in the form of writing. I also think that jiu-jitsu culture-wise, there's a lot of things that don't get said. I came from a small gym. My instructor at the time, Jeff, was great about kind of like teaching you the why of the things of why we train the way we train, why you're doing this homework, why you're doing it. So at the time, he was great. I have modeled a lot of how I teach from that, and I've made it my own. But at the time, there was a lot of mentorship that went on. And sometimes I see in other gyms that are maybe bigger where it's harder to mentor from the head instructor to everyone else because there's so many students, that a lot of the tips and the knowledge and the conversations that happen that really help people get better at jiu-jitsu faster doesn't happen. When you're at class, you don't have the ability to sit there and give a 5-10 minute discussion on how you formulate a game plan, how you formulate a thought for competition, or how you prepare for competition, how you cut weight, or how you don't cut weight and you just deal with it. How, like there's all these hows and these moments where there's stuff that needs to be taught that doesn't get taught because technique is everything. And yes, students come in, they pay to learn technique. So there isn't a whole lot of room in a gym to teach all the other off the mat stuff that we often neglect. So we often will see so many students just kind of making their way through the journey without any proper supervision or mentorship. I felt like I had that early and I understood it early so that when I moved on, even as a blue belt, I had a better grasp on what jiu-jitsu really was and how I wanted to apply it and how I wanted to learn it than I think most purple and brown belts. You know what I mean? Like, I understood what I was striving for. And sometimes you'll talk to people that are training outside the gym and, oh yeah, my instructor never talked to me about building a game plan. My instructor never talked to me about formulating like an A game and a B game. My instructor never talked to me about plateaus. Like, these are all things that need to be discussed. So this is where I think Tapped In kind of gained some momentum and some life, was that it's all the things that I felt like I've needed to say to my students and that some instructors don't ever share. So there's times when a student might ask you about something specific and you can have a conversation with them for 5-10 minutes and really like shed some light on some things. But then there's a student who never asks. So you don't know exactly what they're going through. And again, it's not something you want to share in class because class is for training. So there's moments where you're not around your instructor long enough to get that insight. And that's really what I wanted this to be. I wanted it to be imperfect. I wanted it to be genuine. If you have met me, if you rolled around, if you've been around me, how I am here is really how I am on the outside. So I really wanted it to be about genuinely helping someone. And so I don't heavily edit it. It is what it is. I let the system clean up some sound, take away some O's, and then I release it. I don't even listen to the full thing. I try not to. I feel like if I listen to the whole thing, I'll start overanalyzing and judging my own shit, and I don't want to. I just want it to be something that feels like you're in a room with me or in a room with a coach, and they're just talking to you. I want it to be very informal. So on that note, I decided that I wanted to make it anywhere from 10 to 23, 24 minutes. Lately, the episodes have been more like 18. And the reason I formulated that specific duration was because it's easier to start and finish on the commute, or you just woke up and maybe you're getting ready for work. It's easy to get through. I didn't want to do something that was 60, 70 minutes. One, I can't talk that long. I have very few things I can talk about for 60 minutes. And as a single voice on this one, it sounds weird to be talking for 60 minutes. So really, I wanted it to be, again, imperfect. I wanted it to be raw. I wanted it to be genuine. And I wanted to be able to fit it in a commute. So things I've learned. I've learned that consistency is the biggest thing of all of this. If you want to get good at anything, I got good at jiu-jitsu because of consistency. I got good at drawing because of consistency and not worrying too much about failing. And this podcasting or this adventure has been able to kind of reinforce that, because there were times when I'm always looking at like the results and the metrics, and I look at something and I'm like, oh, it's not getting views, or it's not being listened to or downloaded. What should I have done different? What's going on? And then I start doubting whether I should continue to do this at all. So I've had a couple of comments from people who have listened that have been very encouraging. And I've just had to tell myself, stop, just let it sit, let it breathe. Keep learning from every episode. Be consistent. Release an episode even when you don't necessarily feel like it, or maybe you're too stressed to do things. Batch record a bunch within a morning or an hour or an evening and get those together. So the consistency is it's reinforced it for me, because in jiu-jitsu at this stage in my career, I'm not striving for any belts or anything. So you kind of sometimes maybe lose consistency or lose thought of it in the realm of, oh, you might suck at something, but you have to be consistent. So that's been a reoccurring theme for me, and of which I've enjoyed. Finding my voice has been a bit fun. Again, I'm not a public speaker. I don't like attention being put on me. I don't like being in front of the class. I like it now, but when I was younger, it wasn't a thing that I liked. I've told this story, maybe not on here, where I have always hated attention. I've always hated being the in front of the room and being the focal point for things. Always hated it, even when I was a kid. And when I was in junior high, we would do this thing in English class where each person had to read a page or a paragraph or whatever it might be. I hated that shit. Hated it. And I remember they got to me and I would get so sweaty and nervous and I didn't like speaking. And I had to read, and I came across the word island, and don't judge me or laugh, but I didn't know how to read it. So I did what everyone tells you to do, which is sound it out. And it came out as Island, and people chuckled. And that cemented more of why I didn't like being the focal point, because when you messed up at things, people laughed. So over the years, I've become better at communicating. I've gotten better at being in front of the class. I'm not as nervous anymore. I feel comfortable being there now. I still get nervous when I do workshops or a seminar somewhere, seminar specifically, because it's like, oh, someone paid extra to be here. You have to put on a good show. You have to put on a good demonstration. So I always get nervous for those. I also get nervous like, oh, I hope people show up. What if no one shows? So I think it's been helpful in that sense. It's helped my thought process because I have heard back some of what I do, and I get conscious of, okay, maybe I spoke too fast. Maybe I didn't enunciate enough. So now I'm kind of like trying to work on those and make those better, which has helped my teaching side. It's helped having to do meetings at work. It's helped having to have difficult conversations from time to time. So it's been a blessing in a sense that it's aided in other elements, and it's reinforced my idea of how important consistency is. I also want this to be really about community. I want this to be something that people share regardless of whether you know me or not. I want this to be something that's about growth and less to do about technique. There are moments where I cover technique and I cover a specific position or something, and I try to explain it in an audio fashion without any video. But really, I want this to be about everything else that's not technique. And I want people to feel like they can take this away and apply whatever it is that's being discussed the following week or the following day with ease. Where I'm going, I think short term, I want to continue blending mindset tactics and discussing topics that often get overlooked in jiu-jitsu. I think that I want to continue to develop this and post it. That's another thing that I'm really bad about. I am not great at self-promotion. So if you're listening to this and you're a fan of it, please share, like, comment, send an episode to a friend you know would get something out of that specific episode. Again, it's not a big investment. It's 15, 20, 25 minutes. Everyone has a little bit of time to listen to something that might benefit their growth. Do it for me. I am terrible at self-promotion. So I'm trying to get better at that. That's a goal of mine, short term and long. Long term, I want to continue to build this as a source and a resource for people, much in the way of what like BJJ Mental Models has done. Not on that scale, but just something that people know of, people trust, people invest in, and people will put their time towards, and they'll share and they'll feel like, oh yeah, I know that guy, or no, he's great for tips, he's great for lessons, he's great for mental approach, whatever it might be. I really want this Choke Point Chronicles, which is the blog, and DFM Coaching, which is me actually teaching people remotely or in person, to kind of all work in harmony and allow people just to get better. I think that jiu-jitsu, there's missing gaps in how we teach. And sometimes we think that we're doing the best. And there's really just these gaps that require some attention. And that's where I'm hoping this stuff fills in. I might even start doing maybe some premium mini episodes or mini programs based around certain things. And really, my goal isn't to get rich or make money off of this. I really want it to be a source for people that they can go to, feel comfortable. They can reach out to me if they have further questions. Just something, a community source for people to feel like they're being taken care of. And I know I hate the fact that so many people feel like a number at a gym and they feel lost and then they end up quitting. And I really don't want to be, I want to be something that helps people stick through those moments where you just feel like you're completely lost. Anyways, if you like everything we're doing, please reach out. I would love comments, suggestions, topic ideas. Encouraging words are great. Share, like. If you have any questions, you need help with something, you can always reach me at dfm.9. I often do Q&A on Threads, sometimes on Instagram. It's a little harder on there. But if you want to work with me, you could reach me out to me at dfmcoaching.com. Again, thank you for everything. This is episode 50. Did not think I would get here. I'm super excited to see what else happens here. And your support is immensely grateful for your support. Thank you so much.